Welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things planning, journaling and stationaries. Today's video is filmed in Kobe back in Japan during my trip. Since this will be uploaded before the main summer season, I am hoping this would inspire other people to create a travel log despite trip being quite busy. We are with two boys on a 1 month trip back in Japan, and I am just trying to minimize the pressure of making a beautiful travel log, but instead I am trying to make one in the end so that there's something to take back home, and I'm really enjoying the process. This time I printed some pictures at a convenience store called 7-Eleven. If you have a SD card, it was super simple. I didn't need to touch my phone or anything. All I need to do is to take the SD card and insert it to the machine at the convenience store, which is located almost literally everywhere in Japan. So if you are thinking of making a trip log travel journal during your stay in Japan, I highly recommend it. Since it was my first time to print pictures at 7-Eleven, I experimented with 2 pictures on a page, 4 pictures on a page, and 6 pictures on a page situation. And I really like this 2, which is nice and big, to stick on my traveler's passport size, and this 4 on a page situation. 6 was, to be honest, too tiny. It's like old print club situation, so it's pretty, but whether the picture is very nice and visible, it was a bit questionable. So I really liked 2 on page for a big picture, like family pictures or something very special that I want to take like a whole page on my traveler's notebook. And then I liked the 4 on page, which is nice and small to fit with some writings together. So here I am after printing as many pictures as possible. I am trying to figure out where to stick which pictures. If you haven't seen the previous video, I would recommend how I started doing this travel journal on the go. But to summarize, I've been putting all the ephemeras like tickets or some pieces of everything that I find during the trip here and there on the go, and then I would leave out some pages in between, like 1 page here, 1 page there, so that whenever I get a chance to print pictures, I can fit them in. And this is the strategy, this on-the-go travel journal, that I'm trying to experiment, figure out how it would work for me. But idea is to do as much as possible with like minimal pressure during the travel, because no one wants any pressure during the trip, and trip itself is busy. But on the other hand, since this trip is 1 month long, I don't want to take everything and then start creating travel journal when I am back home, which feels like too much of things to do, to record and everything. So yeah, this is my first time to really make the notebook on the go, leaving some spaces here and there, which sometimes I noticed I have like miscalculated how many pages I want to keep for the pictures, and sometimes I had done like stamping without leaving enough pages. all those things happens, but I'm saying it's okay. It's not the end of the world. So if sometimes the dates get fixed up, all the things, I'm thinking it's okay. Being nice to myself. So here I am, after figuring out which pictures would go to which pages, even roughly, I am now cutting the pictures. So as shared earlier, I have printed at 7-Eleven multi-copy machine that are located in the convenience store. I think it's there for every convenience store. And it prints on the normal photo sheet. So it's not like sticker thing. So I had to cut them out by myself and then use a glue to stick on to my traveler's notebook. As we wait myself to cut all the pictures, I want to share a thought on taking photo with my camera. So I have had this Canon for maybe 10 years or so, and use it mainly for travel when I was single. And then ever since boys came into our lives, there was no capacity, even like physically, with kids holding baby in my hand, there was no space to carry around this big camera with me. And then even mentally, there's already so many things to do, to pack and to take care of with the babies. So I had not used it for quite a long time. However, seeing some other friends using nice camera, I was tempted to go back to it. So I started using it since this year. And specifically for this trip back in Japan, I decided to carry it around. And then I have mentally decided that I would take photo with my camera more than my phone. And this is a strategy that I decided before going on a trip, to be more mindful of how I take photos. Somehow taking photo with our phone became the norm, and yes, it is simple and easy, but I want to reduce screen time during the trip, especially with the kids. And I feel like maybe it's me, maybe it's the old me, classic person, that taking picture with proper camera feels a bit more mindful. Like how I take photo with the camera takes a bit of time. I would kind of think about where I want to put, all the people or the what I'm taking, the object, rather than like shooting for every single moment with 5, 10, almost the same picture in a camera roll situation. And I think this strategy is being quite well. I'm really enjoying carrying it around. Yes, it is heavy, but it takes a good photos. And yeah, I'm feeling a bit more mindful about how I take photo and how we share photo, how we look at each photo. I don't know, something special about the real big camera compared to handy phone that we carry around every day. This is a sticker release booklet from Traveler's Company. I have started using this just before this trip, and I feel like this is a game changer. It's great that I can carry all the sticker collection that I have, and I can use them on the go rather than keeping them safe somewhere and get forgotten. As I was making this travel journal at the dining table of my mother-in-law's house, she spotted how I quickly cut things out and just stick them on without thinking so much. And it was kind of funny because that's really me. Sometimes, yes, there's perfectionism coming in and, have some itchy moments when I'm doing this. But I am trying to ditch the perfectionist so that I can really enjoy the process and then make use of all the photos that I take, all the bits and pieces that I collect, rather than trying to make a picture perfect, I don't know, Instagrammable travel journal in the end. So I am really having fun. If I stick something and feel like, oops, I made some mistake, I would be, not really thinking too much about it. I mean, I have already stuck it, so I don't want to try to take it out and trying to start figuring things out again and again. But I'm just trying to put things here, maybe decorate with a bit of stickers, and let the flow goes. And that's how I've been enjoying this travel journal on the go for a month. This is me cutting this two picture on one page, the one that I printed from 7-Eleven multi-copy printer. I do like how it turned out, the color wise. Sometimes the printer give us a different vibe, but the one from 7-Eleven was very nice. Although I have to cut them and stick them with glue, I highly recommend printing if you want to make a travel log on the go, if you're in Japan, obviously. So I'm working on the day we went out as a family, so I have quite a few pictures to stick. I kept quite a few pages in between, so now I am kind of figuring out which pictures goes where and see how it's gonna look like. In the past, I have made several travel journal in a different way. Sometimes I would make it after the trip, sometimes on the go, trying to do it on the go. And from my experience, all I can highly recommend is to collect as many things as possible to stick it on to the notebook, such as pictures, some stamps, some tickets, some cutout from the catalog or travel book or anything you find here and there, which would easily fill up the notebooks, which means there are less writing that you need to do. Writing takes some time and effort, and you actually need to kind of recall the things that happened. So the more spaces are already filled in, the less space you need to actually write things down. Reduce the burden or the stress of the work you feel like you need to do. So I highly recommend just collect as many things as possible and then stick them as much as possible. I've been collecting so many things in front of my family. So by the week 2 or even toward the end of week 1, our 5-year-old boy started telling me every time we find something pretty, he would tell me, oh, we need to keep this for your notebook. Or he's like, oh, there's something pretty here, we should keep it for your notebook. So yeah, that's how I've been collecting so many things here and there. Sometimes I don't even use them, but the more is better so that I have more option when I'm actually sticking on to the notebook. Something I want to share, something that I feel like underrated are the color pencils. Do you use color pencil these days, or have you forgotten after graduated from your nursery or school? I discovered it as the boys came into my life, and they are actually gorgeous. There are there are no risk of ghosting like color pencil, or and then they are easy to carry around when they are tiny. Well, I actually found them from our big pencil case that we have as a family, and I took only two for the trip. But it gives a nice color addition to the notebook. Plus, you can write something and then you can do anything with the color pencil without smudging the ink or anything that happens with other ink pens. So yeah, I recommend carrying mini color pencil just to give some additional color to the book. So maybe to wrap up today's video, I want to share several tips that I feel like if you are thinking of making a travel journal this summer vacation. One thing is to pick a notebook, carry it around, and just collect as many things as possible on the go. Stick them as much as possible on the go too. This is a strategy that I'm taking this year for our 1 month long Japan trip to reduce the thing that I need to do by the time I get back. I know getting back to our usual day would require some stress and efforts, so I don't want to take all the work to do. I mean, this is creative work, so it's a fun thing for me, but still carrying all the bits and bobs from our trip, all of them in order and all the things sounds too much. So I decided to make a travel journal on the go, and it's been quite well. Of course, not every day I can jot things down, but I am trying to at least stick things within a day or two before I lose them. And then I'm trying to stick things. I've just printed the photo only once at the moment. I think I will do a second round toward the end of the trip, and then so that I have all the pictures ready to stick them. And most of all, just reduce the pressure or reduce the high expectation of how it needs to be, how it needs to look like, because nothing can be perfect, especially when you are making this on the go. Yes, sometimes I skip pages by accident, there's no space for one thing that we did, or I have extra space here and there because I thought I would print pictures but I forgot and all the things. It's okay, it's just a notebook. So reducing the stress, just enjoying this creative moment is a key, I feel. And yeah, it's a lovely gift for future self and maybe for family. So I highly recommend making one if you like this kind of activity, but don't take it too seriously, because if you take it too seriously, it's not gonna happen. Thank you so much for watching this far. I am sharing my boat trip to see a beautiful coastal area of Kobe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.